A competent intercultural communicator is one who has the ability to interact effectively and appropriately with members of another linguistic cultural background on their terms. Spitzberg provides another definition of the terms behavior that is appropriate and effective in a given context, whereas Kim defined this concept as the overall internal capability of an individual to manage key challenging features of intercultural communication, namely cultural differences and unfamiliarity, intergroup posture, and the accompanying experience of stress. For instance, if a foreigner is traveling to Colombia, he or she will need to search for information about our culture and customs regarding specific behaviors and manners to behave appropriately.
After defining what is to be an intercultural communicator, we will discuss 5 components that are fundamental to develop this competence. The first component is motivation. We can say that we are naturally motivated to interact with people that are close to us, both physically and emotionally. However, this natural aspect of us is what often keeps us away from trying to understand different perspectives and cultures. The reason is because most of the times we are not willing to leave our comfort zone. In order to become a competent intercultural communicator, we need to have a personal desire to improve our communication skills. We need to be willing to go beyond personal boundaries and take the risk, so we can learn from the experiences of others who are different from us. One example could be visiting a new country and learning a new language because you are excited.
Another component is knowledge. It refers to the understanding of different elements from the target culture, such as norms and rules. Montreal, Spitzberg, and Bartsch say that in order to be a competent communicator, you need to consider 2 kinds of knowledge: content knowledge and procedural knowledge. To begin with, content knowledge is related to the information that is necessary in a given situation. It involves topics, words, meanings, and so on. Then, procedural knowledge deals not only with knowing of information, but also the application of the content in real scenarios. To illustrate this component, imagine you are traveling with your wife to Africa and you will share it with people from the Wurabi community. Before traveling, you search information in general about their customs and practices in order to be prepared in the content knowledge and avoid misunderstandings. Being there next morning, you start interacting with the members of this community, trying to follow their patterns of behavior, but instinctively you take your girlfriend's hand when walking. Then you start noticing that it is a negative action for this community, and you try to solve the problem by greeting them while looking directly to their eyes. Congratulations, you are probably about to have enemies. For people from this community, it is forbidden to take their wife's hand in the morning and look directly to people's eyes when greeting.
Then, sensitivity. The sensitivity component involves being flexible, patient, empathic, and curious about other cultures. You are open to diversity and comfortable with others. According to Pitinsky, Rosenfeld, and Montoya, a sensitive intercultural communicator is not only tolerant with people of different cultures and their customs, but also willing to have positive attitudes or behaviors to others.
Finally, character. How people perceive you is also important for being successful in the communication with people, and your character will determine if they recognize you as a good person. Character is mainly composed of your personal history and the way you show it. The American philosopher and teacher P.B. Fitzwater defines character as the sum and total of a person's choices. Therefore, depending on how you expose those choices, people will perceive you as a trustworthy person or not. Imagine you are in prison for a murdering crime in the past and you are immersed in a different culture. Would you tell that story? How would you do that?
To conclude, these dimensions are key factors for becoming an intercultural communicator, and the understanding of them will help us to develop a certain amount of expertise in this field, since we already can keep in mind several elements that allow us to interact effectively with different cultures.